welcome to you. My name is Felicitas Jenke. Today we are going to be doing questions, past exam questions on change of subject or formula. So we are going to be doing change of subject of formula and substitution, right? And substitution, right? Substitution, that's our topic for today. So we are going to be doing past exam questions, right? Our first question is a June 2020 paper 2 question number 9b. It reads, it is given that S is equal to A over 1 minus R, and item 1 requires us to find the value of S when A is equal to 81 and R is equal to 1/3, right? So to find the value of S, we substitute A with 81, R with 1/3. So S is equal to this. S is equal to A, it's 81 over 1 minus our R is 1/3. So this is just the same as 81 divided by 1 minus 1/3. Right, so we need to simplify this before dividing. We simplify our brackets, right? So we have 81, this is equal to 81 divided by, right, this one is just the same as 1 over 1. So the common denominator there is 3. 1 into 3 is 3. 3 times 1, 3. 3 into 3, it's 1. 1 times -1 is -1. Right. Then, this is the same as 81 divided by 3 minus 1, it's 2 over 3. Then we change this to a multiplication sign and invert the second fraction. So this becomes 81 times 3 over 2, and this 2 into 2 is 1, into 3 it's 1, 5. Then 81 times 1, 5 is just the same as 81 times 1 plus 81 times 1 is 81 plus half of 81. Half of 81 is 40, 5. So 81 plus 40, 5 is 121,5. So it's 121,5. That's our final answer. So that's part 1. Then moving on to part 2. Remember, we have our formula S is equal to A over 1 minus R. So our part 2 requires us to make R the subject of the formula. So to make R the subject of the formula, this S is just the same as S over 1. Right, so we have one fraction there and we have one fraction. This is one term and this is another term. So having a fraction this side of the equal sign and that other side of the equal sign, we can cross multiply. The numerator multiplies the denominator and this numerator multiplies the denominator. So we remain with S multiplied by 1 minus R is equal to 1 multiplied by A, right? Then we multiply everything in this bracket by S. So it's S minus S times negative R, it's minus S R is equal to 1 times A, it's A. Then remember, we want to make R the subject of formula, right? So we want to leave this R in isolation. Any term in R should be on its on one side and all other terms on the other side. So we can move this negative SR to the other side, and this moves to this side. So we have S minus A. After crossing the equal sign, this was positive, it becomes a negative. A is equal to, this was negative, it becomes SR. Right, remember we want to make R the subject of formula, but this R is multiplying by S. So to remain with R there, we are going to divide both sides by S. So R is equal to S minus A over S. So that's our R there. It's equal to S minus A all over S. So we've made R the subject of formula. Right. Then we move on to the second question. It's a June 2019 paper 2. June 2019 paper 2 question 4C. Right. It reads, given that the square root of ax plus b, right, is equal to d. Express x in terms of a, b, and d. So to express x in terms of a, b, and d is just the same as making x the subject of formula. So we want to make x the subject of formula there. Right, so to make x the subject of formula, we want to remove this square root there. So to remove the square root, we square both sides. Right, this opposite of a square root is squared, so we square both sides. So the square root of this squared, we get ax plus b. Right. Let's say you have the square root of 25, then you square it. The square root of 25 is 5. Then if you square that 5, you remain with 25. So that's how we obtained our ax plus b there. The square root of this is this squared, but the square root of, sorry, this the square root of this, and if you square that, you remain with this. So it's ax plus b is equal to d squared. Right, we want to isolate terms in x, so they remain on their side and all other terms move to the other side. Right, so we remain with ax this side. This crosses the equal sign, it becomes d squared minus b. So this is multiplying by a. So to remain with x, we divide both sides by a. So we have x is equal to d squared minus b all over a. So we've made x the subject of formula there. Then the next question is a November 2019 paper 1 question. Right, November 2019 paper 1 question 19. It is given that g is equal to the square root of h minus 4 over 5 plus h. Then it's a substitution question. Part A is a substitution question. Find g when h is 20. So we want to find g when h is equal to 20. So we don't have a value for g there. So our g is equal to the square root of, we substitute this h with that one with 20 minus 4 over 5 plus 20. Right, so our h becomes 20. So h is 20 minus 4, right? All over 5 plus, that's 5 plus, our h is 20. Then we simplify there. That's the square root of 20 minus 4. It's 16 over 20 plus 5 is 25. So we find the square root of 16 over 25, or the square root of 16, it's 4, square root of 25, it's 5. So the value of g is equal to 4 over 5 after substitution. Then part 2, part B, express h. So our question is g is equal to the square root of h minus 4 over 5 plus h. We are required to express h in terms of g. So to express h in terms of g, we square both sides. We want to get rid of the square root, right? So it's squared. We cannot perform any operation before removing this square root. So we need to remove this square root, then we can operate all the other operations, right? We can perform all the other operations. So we have g squared, the side is equal to the square root of this squared, this square root. You can take it as this square root cancels with this squared, right? It's just an easier way of maybe we are just manipulating that. We are so g squared is equal to h minus 4 over 5 plus h, right? Remember, we want to make h the subject of formula, but we have an h there, we have an h there, right? So we need to separate this h from this denominator. We need to separate from the numerator. So how can we separate? We need to cross multiply, right? Then collect terms in h on one side and factor out that h, right? So we have g squared multiplying by the denominator 5 plus h is equal to 1 multiplying h minus 4, right? So we have 5g squared plus this g squared multiplied by 5, it's 5g squared, and plus g squared multiplied by plus h is plus g squared. H is equal to 1 by h is h, 1 by negative 4 is negative 4. So we want to collect terms in h on one side and all the other terms on the other side. So this comes to that side and we remain with g squared h, and this comes there, it becomes minus h is equal to minus 4 minus 5g squared, right? Then we factor out h. So we have separated our h there. We have isolated our h. So we have h into this is g squared. H into this is negative 1 is equal to minus 4 minus 5g squared, right? So to remain with h is multiplying by this bracket. So to remain with h, we divide both sides by the bracket g squared minus 1 by g squared minus 1. So we now have h is equal to minus 4 minus 5g squared over g squared minus 1, right? So it's g squared minus 1. So that's November 2019 paper 1. It was with 3 marks. The part A was with 2 marks, part B 3 marks. Then I have another question. It's November 2019 paper 2. question 8a. It is given that A is equal to H multiplied by 12 plus B all over 2, right? Then item 1 reads, find the value of A. So we want to find the value of A when B is equal to 1,5 and H is equal to 0,8. Right, so we are substituting the values of B and the values of H. So we have A is equal to H is 0,8 multiplied by 12 plus B is 1,5 all over 2. Right, this 0,8 is multiplying this bracket, so we can safely divide by 2, right? So it's 2 into 2, 1 into 0, it's 0, 4. Right, so we have our A is equal to 0, 4 multiplied by 12 plus 1,5. It's 13, 5. Right, this is just the same as 4. 0,4 is just the same as 4 over 10, right? Multiplied by 13,5. We can divide this by 2 by 2, right? So it's by 2, 2, by 2, 5. Then by 5, 1, by 5, it's 2, remainder 3, into 35, it's 7. Then 2,7 times 2, it's 5,4. So the value of A is 5,4. Right, then our item 2. Item 2 requires us to express H in terms of A and B. But we have our A is equal to H multiplied by 12 plus B all over 2. So we want to make A and B. We want to express H in terms of A and B. So H in terms of A and B. So this is just the same as A over 1. We have one fraction on this side and another fraction on that side. So we can cross multiply, right? A multiplies by 2, so it's 2A is equal to 1 times H, it's H multiplied by 12 plus B. Right, remember we want to make H the subject there. So to remain with H, we divide. Since H is multiplying by this bracket, we divide both sides by that bracket, 12 plus B by 12 plus B. So we have H being equal to 2A over 12 plus B. So our H is equal to 2A over 12 plus B. Right, so we've made H the subject of formula there. So if you work on more questions like that, those questions that we have done today, you are most likely to get all the marks on any question, in any question on formula and change of subject of formula and substitution. Remember to like my video, keep sharing my videos to any of your friends that might be in need of those videos. And remember to hit the subscribe button below so that you keep receiving notifications whenever I post my videos. Thank you. Stay blessed.